lesson plan 11. Today we're going to be making an Espanol sauce, and we're going to be pairing that with a roasted pork tenderloin, as well as a Greek style orzo to kind of complete and complement those flavors. So of course, first things first, as always, we're going to remove our jewelry from our hands. And we're going to wash with soap and water. And we're going to saute all of our mirepoix. So we want this to get nice and warm, so that's just what we're waiting for. I'm going to go ahead and drop our mirepoix in. And we want to keep this mirepoix cooking until it's nice and caramelized. Okay, so this pork tenderloin doesn't really seem to have that much silver skin on it. So I'm just going to kind of keep the camera on focus so you guys can at least watch me trim the fat. You want to get rid of like all these stringy pieces. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and plop this. In here we have our marinade, and our marinade is consistent of olive oil, garlic powder, ground black pepper, salt, and I also put in the rest of the smoked paprika that we had, and then I added a little bit of dill and thyme and oregano because I really wanted to have like a nice herbal, I wanted a lot of herbs and spices in there. So I'm just pouring this on the pork. I'm going to get that all nice and evenly coated on the pork. And it's best to let this sit for about an hour or so, just so everything can kind of marinate really, really nicely. Now we're going to go back over here to our mirepoix. And our mirepoix is already nicely caramelized. So at this point, we're going to grab our flour and we're going to make a roux. I'm going to put that on there. And we want to cook this flour through. And we're making a brown roux. So we're going to cook off all the flour. And then we want it to be brown. So we're going to let that cook a little bit and we'll be right back. So our pork has been marinating for a little while. And we got a lot of flavors going in here. Like I said, again, you're probably going to want to marinate this for like at least an hour. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to place it in our roasting pan. So we have our tenderloin. I want to get the rest of our marinade all in there. There's a lot of good flavor in there. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to place this in our oven that is set to 350 degrees. Right now. Alright. I think I may have used a bit too much flour. But at this point, you should have a brown roux. Add our brown stock and our tomato puree. And we want to stir it up. So I put in 20 ounces of stock. we're gonna add some tomato puree. Maybe a little bit more. We'll catch up with our espagnole when it's been thickened up nicely. So we have our espagnole is boiling. At this point, I went ahead and put in my sachet. My sachet is consistent of bay leaf, crushed black pepper, thyme, and parsley. Now that this is boiling, I went ahead and put the sachet in, and I'm reducing the heat so it can simmer down for an additional 20 to 30 minutes. We'll be back. In the meantime, we're going to work on our orzo, and our pork is still going in the oven. So we're getting ready to start our orzo. We have some olive oil in the pan, and we finally chopped our onions and garlic. So we're going to go ahead and put those in the pan. And saute these. Oregano and black pepper. I'm going to keep that going. All of our orzo pasta. And we want to coat this. We're going to stir everything around. And we want to get evenly coated with that fat and the garlic and those herbs. We're going to zest some of our lemon. And then we're going to pour our broth in and bring it to a simmer. Okay. Okay, so our pork is just about done. I'm going to go ahead. I've just taken that out of the oven. It's still piping hot. I'm going to go ahead with my thermometer. I'm going to stick it right in the center and see if we got up to temp. We're looking for about 145, give or take. All right, looks like my thermometer is reading at 120. We're going to go ahead and pop this back in the oven for a little while longer. Okay, as for our espagnole sauce, it's looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and just put my bowl with my strainer here. Here we are, taking a second look at our pork. I'm going to go ahead and put my thermometer right in the middle. And we've got 140, which isn't bad. It's going to continue to carry over cook. So we're going to let this rest. Our espagnole sauce has also been strained, excuse me. They have a nice thickness to it. At this point, we're just waiting for our orzo to be finished, and we'll go ahead and plate it up. All right, so all three of our meal components are done. We have our orzo, we have our pork tenderloin, and we have our And we have our Espanol sauce. Okay. So then we're going to go ahead and plate it up. I like the idea of having a long bed, especially in contrast to the plate. Okay. Okay. And there you have it.